They are done being quiet about this. Not because anything dramatic has happened, not because a confrontation or a moment of crisis has finally forced their hand into some action they would have otherwise avoided, simply because something in them has reached the specific threshold where continuing to be quiet about it costs more than the vulnerability of no longer being quiet. The internal accounting has been running for a while. The calculation has been revisited from multiple angles, and the conclusion that keeps emerging, the conclusion that has now become settled enough to produce actual external visible movement, is that they want you to know. They want everyone to know, not to make a statement or to claim something or to announce a position, simply because what they feel about you has become too real and too present to be kept in the private register any longer. The pursuit is about to go public. I want to sit with that phrase for a moment before we go anywhere else, because I think it carries something specific that is worth holding. There is a particular quality to the decision to pursue someone publicly, to make the wanting visible rather than keeping it concealed, that is different from every preceding stage of the dynamic. Private wanting, private admiration, private feeling about someone, all of those things carry a quality of protection. They can be adjusted, reduced, or retracted without anyone outside the interior having known they existed. The moment they become public, the protection disappears. What is expressed publicly is real, on the record, available for response and for judgment, and cannot simply be withdrawn because the response was not what was hoped for. This person is ready to lose the protection. What they are about to offer is not the hedged, tentative, interpretable, multiple ways version of interest. It is the specific, visible, nobody could mistake what is being communicated version of someone who has decided they want you and who is going to make that decision legible to you and to the world around you. Let me walk you through what the cards confirmed about why now and what it looks like. Let me describe what I felt the moment this energy opened, because the initial impressions were immediate and they had a specific forward moving quality that I want to share before anything else. I felt momentum, not the early, tentative, let me test the waters quality of someone approaching the beginning of something, the specific, established, already in motion quality of someone who has crossed from deliberation into action and who is now in the specific, slightly exhilarating experience of actually doing the thing rather than thinking about doing it. The momentum of a decision that has already been made and is now being executed. I also felt something I want to name carefully because I think it is the most important impression of the two. I felt the specific, attractive quality of someone who has arrived at genuine confidence, not the performed confidence of someone who is managing the impression they are making. The real kind, the kind that comes from having fully settled into a decision and from having removed the internal ambivalence that usually attaches itself to significant wanting. The confidence of someone who knows what they want, has decided to go for it, and is now simply in the position of someone who is going for it without the weight of the not quite decided holding them back. The first card in this reading arrived in the position representing where this person currently is in relation to you, the specific state they are in as they move into the public pursuit. The title of this reading describes, and I want to describe it carefully because it illuminates the quality of what is approaching you. This card shows a young figure at the very beginning of a significant journey, fully equipped, oriented toward the horizon, with the quality of someone who has all the internal preparation they need and who is now simply at the threshold of actually going. The fire element of this suit speaks to passion and to initiative and to the specific quality of forward motion that does not wait for perfect conditions but begins from wherever it is. And the beginning position in this suit represents the original, undiluted, uncompromised form of the element's energy before any of the complication of the journey has touched it. What I am reading in this card about where this person currently is something I want to name specifically. They are in the first moments of genuine pursuit, not still preparing, not still deciding. In the actual real-time experience of having decided and of being in the beginning of the action that the decision requires, the enthusiasm and the forward orientation of this card are not aspirational. They are current. This person is already in motion. I also want to speak to something. The fire element of this card tells me about the quality of the pursuit when it arrives. Fire pursues directly. It does not circle around what it wants or approach it through a series of carefully calibrated intermediary steps. When fire has identified what it wants and has made the decision to pursue it, the pursuit tends to have a quality of directness that leaves the person being pursued in no doubt about what is happening. What is coming towards you is not subtle. It is not ambiguous. It is the specific, clear, nobody could misread this quality of someone who has decided to be fully legible about their interest and who is making good on that decision. The second card arrived in the position representing what has finally produced the shift from private to public. What is specifically different about this moment compared to all the preceding moments when the wanting existed but the public pursuit did not? And this card illuminates something important. This card shows the figure of the great announcement, the angel with the trumpet, the imagery of something that has crossed from the interior into the shared world with a force and a finality that makes what was previously only privately known now publicly, irrevocably declared. This is the card of the irreversible crossing, of something that once it has been expressed cannot be retracted or softened or reinterpreted as something it was not. Of genuine, significant declaration in the fullest sense of the word. What I am reading in this card about what has produced the shift is something I want to name directly. Something in this person's interior has completed. The period of deliberation has ended, not in a compromise or a tentative half step, but in the specific, full quality of a complete internal resolution that now naturally, inevitably, produces external expression. What was being held internally has reached the point where the holding of it is simply no longer compatible with who this person is and what they genuinely want. I also want to speak to the number of this card in the major arcane sequence because it carries something about the magnitude of what is completing. This card sits near the end of the major sequence, past the difficulty and the testing and the various stages of growth that precede it, in the specific territory of things that have been fully worked through and that are now arriving at their natural conclusion. What is completing in this person is not a brief episode of feeling. It is the result of a longer arc of genuine caring that has been moving toward this particular expression for some time. The declaration that is coming carries the weight of everything that has been building toward it. Does this feel like it is landing on something real, Virgo? The specific sense of someone whose interest in you has been building and who you can feel is approaching the threshold of something more public and more unmistakable than what has come before? Let me know in the comments. The third card arrived in the position representing what this person's public pursuit is specifically going to look like, the form it is going to take in the actual visible daily life landscape you share with them. And I want to describe this because it tells you what to watch for and how to recognize what is happening when it happens. This card shows a figure at the summit of something completed, wand raised, sun blazing, the quality of someone who is operating at the height of what they are capable of and who is doing so fully without reservation in the specific way of someone who is bringing everything rather than holding anything back. The fire element and the completion number speak to the full expression of something that has been building through its entire arc and that is now operating at its peak. What I am reading in this card about the form of the public pursuit is something I want to name in practical terms. This is not going to be tentative, not going to be the kind of thing where you have to decide whether it was interest or just friendliness, not going to leave you in the ambiguous position of wondering what the quality of the attention means. The pursuit is going to be clear, direct, the specific, visible. Nobody could misread this quality of someone who has decided to be fully legible about their interest and who is making good on that decision. I also want to speak to the public dimension of this card specifically because I think it carries something important. The figure in this card is not in a private space. They are at a height, visible, in the specific quality of someone who is operating in a context where they can be seen. The public quality of what is approaching is not incidental. This person specifically wants it to be visible, wants you to know that they are willing to be seen, wanting you. There is a specific quality of respect in the willingness to pursue publicly the specific acknowledgement that what they feel is worth being seen rather than something to be managed in private where it can be controlled and retracted if things do not go as hoped. Inhale with me, Virgo, because the fourth card is the one that describes what this pursuit is going to feel like when it arrives, and I want you to be fully present for what it says. This card shows two figures in genuine, mutual, fully inhabited recognition in the quality of two people who are in the experience of something real between them that is being fully acknowledged and fully received. The winged figure between them speaks to something that presides over the recognition as something more than the merely personal. This is the card of something real being acknowledged between two people in a way that produces a quality of presence and of meeting that is different from the ordinary quality of social interaction. What I am sensing in this card about what this pursuit is going to feel like is something I want to name with warmth. It is going to feel like being chosen, specifically in the full public. I want everyone to see this way of someone who is not hedging or protecting or maintaining the option to retreat. The specific quality of someone making a genuine, visible, this is what I feel and I am not hiding it declaration in relation to you, whatever specific form it takes in your particular circumstances, is going to produce in you the feeling described by this card, the feeling of genuine recognition, of being seen clearly and being wanted clearly by someone who is willing to make the wanting visible. I also want to speak to the reciprocal quality of this card because I think it contains something about what the pursuit is inviting. The cups extend toward each other. This is not one person performing feeling at a passive recipient. It is the imagery of two people facing each other in the specific quality of genuine, mutual, both parties present engagement. What the public pursuit is ultimately inviting is not your passive receipt of someone's interest. It is your actual, present, fully inhabited response to something that is being brought to you clearly and without ambiguity. I want to address something specific about what it is like to be pursued publicly as a Virgo, because I think naming it helps you navigate what is coming with your full self rather than only with the part of you that is doing the assessment. Virgo tends to receive public attention of any kind with a specific quality of slightly uncomfortable self-consciousness. The precision of your awareness of how you are being perceived, the thoroughness of your monitoring of the impression you are making, does not generally produce a comfortable relationship with being the visible object of someone else's visible desire. You are more comfortable being the one who is watching than the one who is being watched. More comfortable being the one who notices than the one who is noticed. What is coming is going to ask you to be comfortable being noticed. Not for a brief moment, but in the sustained public, this is happening and people can see it way of a genuine public pursuit. I want to offer you something in relation to that discomfort. You are allowed to be noticed. You are allowed to be wanted clearly and visibly. You do not have to make yourself smaller or less visible or less the object of this attention in order to accommodate the discomfort of being fully in someone's visible and genuine regard. The discomfort is simply the specific texture of receiving something real and significant rather than something managed and contained. Let it be what it is. You do not have to resolve it into comfort before you can be fully present in what is happening. The fifth card arrived in the position of what this public pursuit is opening into, where the visible declaration and whatever follows from it is heading in terms of the larger arc of what is possible between you and this person. And I want to describe it with the clarity and the warmth it carries. This card shows the full, abundant, completely inhabited scene of something established and genuinely good. The specific quality of a life that has been built rather than simply begun, with the richness and the texture that belong to something that has been allowed to grow into the fullness of what it was always moving toward. The earth element and the completion number together point towards something enduring rather than something exciting but brief. What I am sensing in this card about where this is heading is something I want to say simply and directly. What is beginning with the public pursuit has genuine depth of direction to it. This is not someone who wants a moment with you or a chapter with you. The direction of what they are pursuing has the specific quality that this card describes when it appears in the position of future trajectory. The quality of something that is building toward establishment, toward a sustained, genuine, mutually inhabited version of being together that has the texture of something real rather than something provisional. That is what the public declaration is the beginning of. The declaration is the door. What is on the other side of the door is genuinely worth walking through. Before I close, I want to say something about the specific courage it takes to pursue someone publicly, because I think naming it clearly changes how you hold what is coming. Most people who want someone do the wanting privately for considerably longer than they should. The private wanting is comfortable. It allows for infinite deferral. It preserves the option of retreat. It produces none of the exposure of making what is felt visible to anyone other than oneself. The people who are willing to move from private wanting to public pursuit are specifically the people for whom what they feel has become more important than the comfort of the protection, for whom the wanting has become significant enough that keeping it hidden feels like a compromise of something they are not willing to compromise. This person's willingness to pursue you publicly is itself information about the quality and the depth of what they feel. It is the most honest, most exposed, most genuine version of interest available because it cannot be hedged. It cannot be walked back without everyone seeing the walking back. It is simply, fully, this is real and I am not hiding it. You deserve to receive it as exactly that. Something real that is not hiding and is coming towards you without the protection of concealment. If this reading named something you have been sensing is about to happen, the specific energy of someone whose interest in you is reaching the threshold of public expression, please share it with a Virgo who might be on the edge of the same moment and who needs to hear that what is coming deserves to be received in its full quality rather than managed down to something more comfortable. And leave a comment. I want to hear who this is describing for you and what you have been sensing in the quality of their attention. I read every single comment and I hold what is shared in this space with genuine care long after this video ends. Until next time, Virgo. They are done being quiet about this. The pursuit is going public. It is going to be visible, unmistakable, fully meant. You are about to be chosen in front of everyone. Let yourself be.